Good morning, I'm Ashley Trueluck, and I'd just like to take this opportunity to say a few words on the occasion of the anniversary of VE Day. I'm doing so as High Sheriff of Wiltshire, but also as Chairman of the Wiltshire Community Foundation and as a former Army officer myself. And I make that point because to my mind the diverse themes of VE Day, community spirit and military ethos all come together in the context of the present coronavirus pandemic. VE Day in 1945 came at the end of a struggle which threatened the very livelihood of everybody in Great Britain, a period which many people nevertheless still remember with great nostalgia. I think that's because the Second World War was a time when people were united against a common threat and learned to depend on their friends and on the kindness of strangers. This led to a great sense of community. For those in uniform, that meant the comradeship of others in a ship's company or an army regiment or an Air Force station. And the same applied on the home front, with civilian communities pulling together against a common threat. And this is exactly what's happening in the present crisis. Coronavirus is every bit as serious a threat to our livelihood as was Hitler and Mussolini, arguably more so because it's invisible, and will only come through this emergency as our parents and grandparents did in 1945 by pulling together irrespective of politics, colour, class or creed. You know, the first 6 letters of the word emergency spell emerge. And there's no doubt that local heroes and innovative ideas are emerging from this crisis. Just as in the years leading up to VE Day, the local air raid wardens, the village bobby, and the women working in the munitions factories became the icons of the home front, so in 2020, it's the NHS, reinforced by millions, literally millions of volunteers working in hospitals and in local communities, supported by our marvellous police force, working with the full cooperation and consent of the general public, who are showing just as much fortitude in this lockdown as our forebears did in 1945. And don't forget the unsung heroes, the people manufacturing homemade PPE, the dustbin men still emptying your rubbish, the postman still delivering our mail, the supermarket staff, and the cleaners keeping the virus at bay. All these people are taking individual risks they don't need to, but they do so for the benefit of the community as a whole. Of course, today is a day when we remember not just the home front, but of course our armed forces who saw off the external threat. Today, our armed forces are playing just as an important role, providing planning advice, building field hospitals, manning test stations, delivering logistics, and rescuing stranded UK nationals from all over the world. You don't hear much about their activities because they don't want to steal the limelight, quite rightly being shone on the NHS. But they are working behind the scenes, here in Wiltshire as elsewhere in UK, and it's vital work. We've yet to reach our coronavirus VE Day, but when we do, I'm sure it'll be a cause of as much rejoicing here as it was in 1945. Like the Vera Lynn song of that generation, we don't know where or when that will happen, but we will all meet again in normal circumstances. I just hope that when we come out of it, we all remember and thank the unsung heroes who've emerged in this crisis. and the wonderful community spirit that has been developed over the past few months? If so, I'm sure we will emerge with stronger communities and an even more caring society as a result. And that is definitely something worth waiting for. Thank you.